There is piping hot tea. Justin Baldoni and his lawyer have spoken. Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Freeman, just went on News Nation and kind of spilled the tea a little bit of exactly the steps that happened with the New York Times. He claims that the New York Times contacted Mr. Baldoni and his team at 9:47 on a Friday night and said that they were releasing the story at 12 p.m. the next day, giving them less than 14 hours to confirm this huge one-sided bias story. They also said that they claimed that to have read thousands of text messages and based on fact, and they're standing by that. However, they never even did a follow-up or reached back out to Justin's team. Said unbelievable that they can claim that they went through thousands of text messages, because if they would have done that, they would have seen the text messages that were missing, and not once did they even do a follow-up or ask. And who does that? What kind of reliable news source takes a story, tells you at 9:47 p.m. that on Friday night before Christmas that they were going to be publishing this story the very next day, giving you limited time, and now Justin is suing them, and I think he has every right to. And why I think it's very smart of Justin and his team to be suing the New York Times first and not Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds is because they want to prove, or want the New York Times to prove, whether or not they, the New York Times, took things out of context, or if they were given that information. And if they were given that information and it was redacted and it was untrue in the claim, that's going to cause a lot more problems for Miss Lively and Mr. Reynolds. On top of that, he also said this.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. There's a number of different defendants here. Stephanie Jones will be all over this complaint.
He goes on to say that what they're actually thinking about doing is dropping all of the receipts, as the young people call it, all of the receipts, so that everyone can read exactly what happened and get to the bottom of the truth. When he said, "Are you gonna sue Blake Lively?" and he said, "into oblivion," damn. Now, there are a lot of theories going on, and I have a few of my own, which I posted on exactly what happened. I definitely do think that this is a ego, and I do think that it was a toxic takeover. Just based on what I've read in the claims, there's a lot of things that can be considered just a perspective from Blake and being on set, and I'm not really sure if she was ready to be on a set that had so much physical as well as emotional depth, and then what that could mean and what happens. Justin Baldoni's lawyer also then goes on to say that he will be suing Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds. I want to be very clear to the people who are like, believe the woman, you're anti-woman. It's not as easy in this case to just believe the woman, because there are many women involved and the power dynamic is really shifted. In most cases, you would think the director would have more power over the actress, but in this case, Blake Lively and her husband have more power, and it's actually Blake Lively and her husband against Justin Baldoni and 9 other people, including women, and then also Justin's ex-publicist is now suing Justin and other women, his current publicist who used to work for her, as well as his crisis management team. So there are like 10 to 12 people already in the claims and 3 lawsuits. But I do want you to listen to Justin explaining how he went to the premiere and how heartbreaking this must have been for a director to be treated this way in his own film. I do have some pretty hot takes and opinions on the people coming out saying like, oh, I knew he couldn't be a good guy. It was too good to be true. Da-da-da-da-da. What a narcissist. But time out. That's for another video. In this case, at this point, there was no complaint made against Justin. There was no report. Sony, I mean, they catered to whatever Blake wanted. And to hear Justin explain the way he had to film, or he had to spend his movie premiere in a... Listen to this.
It would have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life, career-wise. I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour. I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast. We start laughing because of the ridiculousness of this whole thing. And I realized, like, on a night that was supposed to be so materialistically joyful, I was in the basement with the people that I love the most, and we were all joyful and laughing. Because none of that shit matters. We're in this business because we're artists. And we believe in what we do. And I believe that will follow each of us. And that truth will prevail, and that light and love will win.
Well, I believe that the truth will prevail as well, and love and light will win too.